Welcome to The Engaging Life, a podcast about using engagement equity to improve your relationship building skills in your personal and professional life. And now, here are your hosts, Brandon Suba and Angela Cheney.
Hey, Angela.
Hey, Brandon.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
We can talk about it. We took a break. We took a week off.
Yep, for our new season, and we are in a new space, as you can tell if you are watching rather than just listening.
Hey.
We don't have it all set up yet.
It's
Work in progress. Hopefully, we'll have our nice signage back up for the next episode, but we work with what we work with.
we're excited to get this episode out to you today. This is I've done this topic before. I know I've done like every topic before. This is one of my favorites. I did a lot of research for this one, not necessarily like for this time, but last time I did a lot of research. Yeah. So YouTube channel, check out the Pixelfire YouTube channel. Go like the Pixelfire Facebook or any social, I guess, for Pixelfire, because you can easily access this show and all the other shows. And there's cute little, I just found this out and I knew I was going to share this. They're using bloopers for the reels. And
Yep.
I talk a lot off screen. I'm sure everyone is shocked about that. I talk a lot. So, hey, go check them out. My 9-year-old just was laughing up a storm.
A storm.
A storm
of laughter.
A storm of laughter because we were singing. Angie and I were singing. It was cute.
I'm sure it was.
How we were rocking and rolling together. What band's on your phone? The Animal?
Electric Mayhem.
The Electric Mayhem.
With Dr. Teeth.
If you were born after 98, you should Google it and you'll come in and meet the Muppets. All right, so let's just dig into the episode. So excited. So this is a new season. So this is season 3.
It is.
Oh, hot dang. What a great episode to start season 3 with.
And did you just swear right there?
Nope, I said dang. Hot dang.
So is that like a kind of swear?
No, this is I'm not going to touch on kind of, well, maybe I will. This is one of those where deep down inside, we both want to swear a lot on this because we're going to talk about swearing, mostly in public networking presentation areas, because with my background and all my traveling and all of the meetings I have been to, I've heard, I'm going to say the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think I can always come up with those 3 with any topic that I'm talking about. But with the swearing one, it really comes down to preparation. And I'm getting ahead of myself. But when it comes into those settings, it's really preparation. So we'll talk about that more. But let's go way back in history.
Okay.
I'm just joking. Let's go to the history of swearing. So one funny thing, do you know a swear word is not really a word?
Okay.
Okay. So if you think about it, if somebody is hammering a nail and they miss and they hit their thumb, they don't say a common word. Not what we would consider a swear word, but they don't say like, oh, no, I guess you could say fiddlestick. Oh, teddy bear.
Okay.
Right? Because teddy bear is an actual word. It means something. We have defined the swear words to be disrespectful and to have a meaning behind them. The F word comes to mind when you hurt yourself, right? It's a common thing to say. And if you watch football, I do love this, or any sport for that matter, you can see, if a play goes wrong, you can see the wording on their mouth. It's like they're very much saying the F word. That, and it's more America than anything else, but that is very much deemed as a pretty inappropriate word. As far as swear word, but it's not even a real word.
That's true. It's not in the dictionary, probably.
Because we've defined it, is it? I guess I've never looked it up.
But then there are some swear words that are words. Like damn.
Well, spelled differently though.
No. If you damn someone to hell, that's a word.
Okay, that is a word.
Yeah.
Now, but we're saying damn pretty freely. Is that a swear word?
That's what I'm asking.
I would say so, okay. And it's also how you present it. Because if I damn you to hell, that's offensive to you, right?
Right. But the F word is also a word. It means something.
We've defined it. We as society has defined it to what it means.
It's a...
You can use it for more than one thing, right?
Right.
Okay. So once again, if you're using it in the context of like an action? Is that what you're
Yes,
kind of going? Okay.
yes.
If you're using it in that context, then yes, it is a word. But if you hurt yourself and you swear.
Right. You're not using it in that way.
Correct. So what I learned was swear words, cuss words that we have deemed are very much society. And I use this example. I told my wife last night, I was like, I'm gonna tell the story you always tell. So there was a Catholic that went to confession in Australia, and they confessed that they used foul language.
Okay.
And the priest said, "Why are you confessing that?" And the American was like, "Oh, well, because that's a swear word." There are a few words in Australia that they use very freely,
Mm-hmm.
and in America, they are so offensive that you would never want to use them, right?
So I think swear words are cultural.
Cultural. Okay, yeah, you always put a better defining word around
That's
it.
what I do.
So it's very cultural. So it's funny to me that you could give a presentation using certain words in a different country and you wouldn't offend a single person.
Right.
Or you could use them here and you would offend almost everyone in the room.
I would say bloody.
Oh, yeah, doesn't bother me at all.
In Britain, that is a big no-no.
Yeah. And I've used that like freely with even around my kids. Oh, bloody hell, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you are correct. So there, it's not. So right out of the chute, we need to recognize when we're talking about swear words, to me, I'm talking about using them in the context of a filler word.
Okay.
I don't think they're a great choice for filler words, and we'll dig into that here in a minute. And then also directly towards someone. Because if you say F you to someone, that's offensive.
Absolutely.
And you
always.
mean it. You mean it offensively, right? So that's where, and I love that we've alluded to so many words.
Yeah.
Will one slip? We'll find out.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to. And we swear on here. We have sworn.
Yeah.
here.
Oh, yeah. Probably me worse than you.
I wasn't going to say it.
Oh, that's true.
But I have also, it was Anchorman, whenever that came out. That really helped me find alternatives, like son of a bee sting. I don't use shut the front door, although that is.
I have a friend who uses that all the time.
See, it's good because we know, or fudge. I remember when I was a
Fudge
kid, I was using fudge, and eventually my mom's like, we know what it means. You can't use it like that. Once again, in context, right?
Which is so silly because it's like, I don't. Yeah, you know what it means, but you're using a different word. What if you said,
It's
oh,
because
poo? I mean, you can't use that either. You
It's-
can't use any sort of expletives.
it's the meaning behind it, in my opinion, right? Like if I were to say, well, that was a fudged up situation, I don't know if that's as offensive as like fudge you. You know what? I don't think I've ever said fudge you to
I don't
someone.
believe I've ever heard that, but I'm going to use it now.
Fudge you.
Fudge you.
Your next email goes back and forth. You'll be like, you know what, Brandon, fudge you. I don't like
Fudge
this topic. See, there's so many alternatives. Okay. So the whole reason for all of this is I want us to understand the swear words, very cultural,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not really words. They're more reactions, more like a grunt or something along those lines. But,
Like expletives.
ooh, so
I mean, that's another word for swear words.
Not
is an
even
expletive,
repeating it
Which
because I
is-
won't say it right.
which is, they're kind of automatic.
Correct.
I think a lot of the times, and the times that number one, you can get in a habit of it, which I am in a habit of it. Our kids are older. I don't have to watch myself around them anymore. Not to say I didn't curse around them, swear around them when they were younger, because
Right.
I did. But now we just don't even watch it at all in our house. And so I've gotten to the point where it is very automatic and it's a habit. But for some reason, and I might be jumping the gun here,
Mm.
for some reason, when I get into, I'd have kind of this is going to sound like I'm talking myself up. I have a bit of a natural ability to read a room and know what I can and cannot say.
You are jumping ahead, but it's okay. Keep going. No, you can keep going.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people do not.
Correct.
Have
Correct.
that. And so, yeah, we'll get ahead.
We
to
are.
that,
And I've got good news because I have a way to avoid that.
but- okay.
I do have a way to avoid that. Okay. So swear words, cultural, they come out unexpectedly. Sometimes, I mean, not always.
Right.
People use it purposely. And I do want to be very clear. I swear quite a bit. I mean, Isabel's 9 and she's learned a few of the words. So I am, and I hate doing this, but I'm very much the do as I say, not as I do.
Mhm.
But we do let her say some swear words, which there is nothing cuter than
Yeah.
when she comes up and she'll be like, well, Dad, that was a S word show, huh? And it's just so cute because I'm like, you're using
Yeah.
it correctly. You're using it in the right environment. And yes, that was.
And I
a
think
jazz show.
it's it can be taboo too. Like if you really make it a you are not going to do this, we are not going to do this, then they want to do it more and more.
Absolutely.
And our kids, you know, they're teenagers now. When they were younger, Todd and I kind of made a decision where it's like, we're not gonna curse a blue streak all the time, but we're really not gonna watch ourselves that much.
Right.
And our kids, Todd's kids, I still never hear it from him. Delaney's almost 16, and she'll say some things now, and every time she does it, she still kind of gives me the look, which I think is amazing. They're 16, 17, and 15, and we've sworn around them since they were 6, 7, and 8, and none of them have done it.
Really?
Up until just very recently.
It got it's getting heavy in the house now.
I mean, but like I said, I still have never heard it from Austin.
Wow.
Brooke, I don't know. And it's just I'm around Delaney so much more.
Yeah, that's true.
And also I'm not around. Oh, here's a funny story. So Delaney will do it every once in a while, you know. Well, she had a friend over the other day. It was this summer. And I was up on the porch. So the porch is, if you're on YouTube, you see that I'm elevating. The porch is up here. Our hot tub is down on a lower level. You cannot see that I was on the porch. My daughter and her friend were in the hot tub. Oh my God. I was like, is that my daughter? And afterwards I was like, Delaney. I'm like, I don't think I've ever heard the F word so much in any context. So there is also that maybe they are just limiting what they say around us.
Correct. Yep, I do. I would believe that. And really what I tell Isabel, the F word's off the table right now. Because once again, there's
She's
just
really young, yeah.
such a meaning behind it. But then I just say, if you get in trouble at school for using this language, I am going to support the school, not you. Like, I want you to understand, I've taught you that these words are not appropriate in certain settings.
Sure.
And if you can't keep that balance, that's on you, not
And
me.
that's, it's also respectful of the teachers, respectful of the environment in which you're in, and teaching your kids that is a good thing.
Yeah, but I firmly believe Isabel probably cusses like a sailor around her friends.
And she's 9?
Yeah, I did. I was the same way. We talk a lot.
Trying to remember myself at 9.
Oh, I'll never forget myself at 9. It was one of my best years. I'm just joking. I don't know.
He peaked at 9, folks. 9.
Been downhill ever since. All right. So let's talk about this in the networking world. Because this is really what I saw is what really sparked this whole concept. And Gary Vee. So I was at a conference, wish I could tell you the year. It has to be over 10 years ago. And one of the people I met with, and I said, you know, who motivates you? I really need more books and stuff. And he goes, Gary Vee. Just got into Gary Vee. I absolutely love him. So on the flight home, I remember I downloaded some of his podcasts and I was listening to him. And I don't know if I feel he's calmed down lately. Okay.
He's a lot.
But if you go to the older stuff, well, like 5-10 years ago, I mean, it's F-bomb this, F-bomb that, S word here. It really, he cussed a ton. And I'm just thinking to myself, there are some people in the business world I would not recommend this to.
Right.
Like, I love his message and his demeanor. I loved him.
Well,
but because of his language, I wouldn't recommend him to certain people.
Okay. And I think, obviously, Gary Vee is a branding genius. And I think what he was doing there is he's a very staunch supporter of know your audience, know your niche, know who you want. So the people who were offended by him, he didn't want them as listeners. He didn't want them as clients. He didn't want them as fans.
Yep.
And I think that is absolutely okay.
Oh, yes. In marketing, that's what you should do. You should find your niche. And then he had Tony Robbins. I will never forget this. He had Tony Robbins on his show. Is that, you call him Banana?
Yeah.
His hands are huge. His teeth are huge.
Did you ever see Shallow Hal?
I have.
When he's in the elevator with him and he
gosh.
he's like, get away from me, banana hands.
I don't remember that, but I have seen the movie. So he came on, and of course, Tony Robbins, you'll never hear him swear in his presentations, in all of his motivation. But Gary's like, I just want you all to know, he was cussing like a sailor before we turned these microphones on. And Tony just kind of laughs. He's like, yeah, I do swear a lot. Because his audience.
Right. It's a much different audience.
Much different audience.
I know, because I wrote for him.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you. Well, we learned, got all fancy pants over here.
Fancy pants. And don't forget, there it is, tag team.
Oh, yeah.
I still do some writing for him every once in a while.
You had him on a show.
I did.
back in the day.
Yeah.
Back in the original. You are famous.
I'm
I'm saying like
name dropping.
I need all these things because I'm so famous. I'm not famous at all. Except for the blooper reels. Those I heard are getting some great
Say
attention.
this, you are not famous yet.
Oh, yet.
Yeah,
I know.
That's a mindset thing. Do you know that you're supposed to add yet
to everything?
To the end of, like, if you say, I'm not good at math yet.
Oh.
I don't know how to work this printer yet. Because that's saying that you're willing to work on it and that you will get around to doing it someday. If you don't have yet, it's just saying, I can't do it, never going to learn to do it.
Then
too bad.
Shutting it down. Okay, well.
Yet. He's not famous.
I'm not famous yet. But if you want to share this podcast, maybe it'll get to Tony Robbins. It'll be like,
help out. Get it to Banana
Hands.
Hands.
Let's get this guy as our opener. Well, now we're not because you called him Banana Hands.
I was not the first to do that.
From a movie. Okay, anyway, so back to networking. So I do believe it goes into your identity, right? Gary Vee swore a lot. Tony Robinson didn't, but he swears in his daily life, so I'm sure if you knew him. Grant Cardone, I was always impressed with his minimal of swearing.
Okay.
But yet just the message really hit
Mm-hmm.
hard. Like he really pushes it. And so
I think that too. If you don't swear a lot, when you use it, it's much more powerful.
Yes. Yep. If you have it on reserve, then, and I think in parenting, right? When you're really mad and you drop a swear word when you're disciplined, it will change how that kid is like, oh, this is.
That's like using their full name when you have a nickname for them.
Yep.
Or using their middle name.
Which Charlotte's middle name is Marie, and I say Maria. I don't know why, when she's really in trouble. Charlotte Maria.
At least she knows.
Or no, if I say Marie, then she knows she's in trouble. Maria, it's kind of the joke. Stop digging a hole in the backyard, Charlotte Maria.
Like to put a body?
No, she's 4.
Start them early.
Rabbits. Dead rabbits.
That's a body. That is.
Okay. Anyways, we're moving on. Okay. So in the networking world, where I would see swearing, there are some people that I feel have deemed that's who they are. And I want to be very clear. This podcast is not about changing who you are. We'll get to the final question at the end, and hopefully that'll direct if you want to change a little or not. But I know a few people, and they just swear. Every time they get up, they use a swear word. It's in their natural vocabulary. It's how they would talk if they weren't in the networking event, and they just are that way.
And I would say you probably get that a lot with blue collar service professionals.
This is
roofers.
This would be a white collar.
Oh, okay.
And I will disagree with you. Actually, now as I'm like running through my head, it is more of the business professionals that I find swearing at events. And I want you to think too of your networking background. I'll use the blue collar, white collar just for the ease of identifying. Blue collars, they don't say much to begin with. True. Right. A lot of the times I know like plumbers, somebody will sign up and then they'll send one of their crew. They don't want to be there. Right. They're not comfortable with it. But salespeople, we talk. And we want to talk a lot. And in the networking, when you give me a minute, I'm going to take 2. So that's why I think they swear more, because you hear them talk more.
Okay, that makes sense. Law of averages.
Go have lunch with that blue collar. That might be a different story, right?
Or get them to work on your house.
There you go. Oh, yeah.
Those are the
with a couple buddies.
If you can just kind of hide so they don't know you're there. Oh, boy, you'll hear some stuff.
Oh, back in my countertop days when I would have a real reserved couple, I would tell the installers, I'm like, just keep it.
How about, have you ever been around cowboys?
I worked in Wyoming for many years. Okay. I have been around cowboys.
My stepdad, he would go out, and when he had to like throw hay or do something with the cows, we would just go out. Like we just had to be outside. He might have been a quarter of a mile away, and you could hear. And it was the most inventive swearing you have ever heard in your life.
Of course it is. He has nothing else to do. He didn't want to be there.
It was, especially when a cow was being difficult. Oh my gosh, we'd just sit and laugh.
See, but not, okay, but put him in a networking meeting. See, exactly.
Don't ever put him in a networking meeting.
So here's what I've noticed though. Once again, some people, they just have it in the vocabulary. Ironically, I don't think it really hurt their growth, though. But then also the specific person I have in my mind, his attendance wasn't great. Okay. Right? So it's kind of like it was every now and then you had to deal with it. He wasn't really committed to the group? I mean, he is, but just part of the original crew thing.
Ah.
Yeah, okay.
Old Boys
You know
Network.
what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
The Old Boys Network who thinks they can get away with everything.
Yep, and did. Or does.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you have those.
Sometimes
You
they
have
do.
those. I was never a fan, and you'll know why once we get to the end. But when I would see people that would never swear, and really it wasn't part of who they were, it was because they weren't prepared.
Okay.
We talk about preparing weekly presentations, or, if you get an opportunity to talk at a meeting, the more prepared you are, have an elevator speech, all those things. When you go off of script,
Okay.
you are more likely to drop that swear because nervous reaction, filler words, right?
Sure.
And they usually get a nervous laugh from the group. So then I've even seen people be like, "Oh, yeah, you like that? Okay,
going over
well,
well."
F this too." And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, stop there.
Yeah.
You got one through. So a way to really control your swearing is be prepared. Be prepared for your presentation. Have questions in a one-to-one setting. Have questions prepared because you're less likely to go down that swearing path when you're on script. So if you really buy into this whole concept, because I presented, all around, in 4 different states, I'd give 2 or 3 presentations publicly a day. I never would swear, but I was always prepared.
Okay.
But then when I would maybe jump on the bandwagon of like a theme when you're going around the room and everything, every now and then one would kind of slip out.
Okay.
And I'm representing the company, so I really wanted to be respectful.
Right.
And okay, so there's that. So being prepared really makes a difference. So what it all boils down to for me, right? I swear, it doesn't offend me. It can offend others. Is it worth missing or losing a referral opportunity to use a swear word?
Again, I think it goes back to who do you want as your clients? And there really are people that would prefer not to work with somebody who would be offended by swearing.
Correct.
But I would say most of the time, if you put it in those terms, then the answer would be no, it's not worth it.
No. And my biggest fear when I was presenting is that there was a potential member or referral in the crowd. And if I were to use language that offended them, they would then say, nope, I'm not going to work with him, or I don't buy into this company.
So I've got a great real world example, and it's not about swearing. It's about off-color jokes or comments.
Okay.
Which I am the queen of. I say really off-color offensive things all the time, but I know my audience.
Yes.
I'll say in our team meetings, and we joke about really irreverence, I believe is the right word. It means joking about things that probably really should not be joked about.
Okay. Yep.
So I'm very irreverent. Both Todd and I are very irreverent. And anyway, so this was a networking group, and there was guests in the room, and the one of the members made a joke about Jews. Now, and I heard the joke. It wasn't anti-Semitic.
Okay. That's good. That's good to know.
But it was a joke about Jews.
Very specific.
3 of the guests were Jewish.
Of course.
They got highly offended. One walked out, and they kicked the member out of the group.
Okay. Thinking back, this seems that it's very like, you can see it, right? You can relive that. Do you feel this person was off script when they said the joke?
I was not in the group.
Oh, dang it.
This was related to me by another one of Travis, one of our employees. So I was not there. I think it was an offhand.
You see?
Just an offhand. They came in and said something, and this happens to me. It immediately comes to mind. Bleh, sometimes. It was, it wasn't like in a presentation or anything. Somebody said something. He responded with, well, I thought, da, 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 da.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And what I think happened there, again, I wasn't there. He had gotten so comfortable with the group. He thought he could say anything.
There you go.
And was not aware enough to say, there are people in this room now that I don't know. And he probably could have got away with that, and probably had gotten away with that. But he had known the people, and there's unknown faces in there, and he got comfortable. He got into a habit. That's
So you've said it many times. This is what we say to Isabel, because she's learning sarcasm and she's loud and tries to be funny like me. And sometimes she gets a real good zinger, but then she doesn't stop. She doesn't cash in on the laugh. She
keeps going
too far. Yep. So what we say in our house is you need to know your audience. Is it okay for you to be prancing around and dancing to music? Absolutely, when it's us. Is it okay when 20 people are over and we're hosting? No, right now is not the time. And it goes back to the swearing too, that she can. You need to know your audience. Are you in a position or a situation where it's okay? And the more you're aware of your audience, the more likely you're not going to offend. And I mean, you're going to offend people no matter what. If you use foul language or not, you're going to say something that's going to offend them. That's going to happen in life. That's fine. One great superhero power I have is I don't care. I just don't.
So it goes back. One of my big dilemmas in life is people who say, this is just how I am. Take it or leave it.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
And some people go way overboard. And so there are something, this is who I am. Like me, accept me, don't. I'm not going to try and convince you to like me. There's that. But then there's being an asshole.
Yep.
And I just swore. But I hate it when people are like, I cuss and swear and it offends you. That's just who I am. Or I'm late all the time. It's just who I am. Or any other number of things you're doing that are offensive, disrespectful, any of that, and then trying to play it off as, that's just who I am. I hate that. It's like, know the difference between being who you are and being disrespectful to others.
Yep.
There's a difference.
I think the meme or the saying is, you can be who you are, but you still can't be an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, it's just be respectful and know your audience. So the big takeaway here is the more prepared you are in public speaking, the less likely you are to have a slip. And once again, if you're building your business and you're out there in front of people and you're giving presentations, it may be who you are, but is it worth your business getting a bad reputation because you met with a group of 15 people and you offended one by swearing? And you can control it.
Yes.
We as humans can control what we say. And the fact that I could present for 7 years publicly in front of thousands of people, not all at once, but you can cumulatively, means you can do it.
Oh, absolutely.
So preparation is one. And then number two is know your audience, because there are times, and especially if you're in a consistent group that meets, if it is just the 4 or 5 of you, you've golfed before, you've had drinks before, and you know the group, then yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
And they even all open up a little bit, and that's human. That's good.
Yes.
But if you have somebody that you know that might offend, or you have somebody you don't know, you've never met them, or you just met them, that's when I think it is worth to your business and to your reputation or credibility, I use a lot, to dial it down a minute, learn who's in your room. Who's in the audience. Learn who's in the audience.
The room,
and then you can tailor it from there.
Yes.
But for me, and yeah, we swear a little bit on this podcast, but we don't have to put like the E, next to it or anything. I think for us, we want a wide viewership or wide listeners. We keep it clean. I mean, there are some funny stuff we say off the camera, but we keep it clean on here. And the main thing is we want you to be able to share this with anyone that you feel we get something out of it. And the last thing I would want to see is, oh no, we can't share that podcast because it's so offensive. They insult so many religions.
That's the engaging life after dark.
Yeah, which is one of these. 2023, we are committing. We're going to do an after hours one. And a spouse one. We want to bring.
I thought they were one and the same.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, by default, the spouse one is going to be one and the same. But we do. We talk about Liz and Todd so much. We think it would be kind of fun to bring them on.
And Todd's got a fantastic radio voice.
I don't think Liz does. She doesn't have an annoying voice, though. Well, that doesn't annoy me.
That's good.
Might annoy you, but
I doubt it.
I have to live with her, so it doesn't really matter if it annoys you or not.
Mm.
So it is. So those are my big takeaways today. Is it worth losing a deal, losing a referral, losing your credibility? And the more you know your room, the more comfortable or the more open you can be. And maybe it is an environment where you can swear. Maybe it's not. But ultimately, if you can lean on the side of caution,
err on
the side of caution, just don't. Just don't swear. And to me, you'll get better credibility that way.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, hey, that wraps up this episode. Ooh, I want to say that more. That wraps up this episode. I like that.
New for season 3.
Season 3 is coming in hot, folks. We're in a new building.
I already talked about that.
We already talked about it. We covered that. So hopefully the sign's up next time we record. But we like reviews. We like comments. We read the comments and we'll respond if you leave us a comment. And check out the reels. The reels are funny. And you get to see a little behind the scene. So that's all we got.
All right.
Look forward to talking to you on the next podcast.